Chapter 32. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and as for princes, they shall rule in justice. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as by the watercourses in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of them that see shall not be closed, and the ears of them that hear shall attend. The heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerer shall be ready to speak plainly. The vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be noble. For the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice ungodliness, and to utter wickedness against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and to cause to drink of the thirsty to fail. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor, and with lying words, and the needy when he speaks right. But the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. Rise up, you women that are at ease, and hear my voice. You confident daughters, give ear unto my speech. After a year and days shall you be troubled, you confident women, for the vintage shall fail, the ingathering shall not come. Tremble, you women that are at ease, be troubled, you confident ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins, smiting upon you the breast, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine, for the land of my people, whereon thorns and briars come up, yes, for all the houses of joy in the joyous city. For the palace shall be forsaken, the city with its stir shall be deserted, the mound and the tower shall be for dens forever, a joy of wild asses, a pasture of flocks, until the Spirit be poured out upon us from on high, and the wilderness become a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be counted for a forest. Then justice shall dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness shall abide in the fruitful field, and the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness quietness and confidence forever. And my people shall abide in a peaceable habitation, and in secure dwellings, and quiet resting places, and it shall hail in the downfall of the forest, but the city shall descend into the valley. Happy are you that sow beside all waters, that send forth freely the feet of ox and the asses. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. Now, yesterday we talking about it, those that go down into Egypt, those that go to seek counsel now in this land of enclosures, even those that seek counsel of men, even those that say to these men, say something good to us, give us something, a pillow, something sweet. This is what we've been talking about. These are those that have greatly and deeply rebelled from God, that have turned from the law of God, that don't want to follow the law of God. And we're going to find out that God has used this now as a way to even punish, and this is God's judgment even that he has set in the earth. And we're going to start with verse 1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and as for princes, they shall rule in justice. And behold, look over here, pay attention now. A king shall reign in righteousness, a king shall reign in justice. And justice comes from judgment, and that's what the king was given for in the first place. And as for princes, they shall rule in justice, or in judgment even, because that's the purpose of them. And this judgment is the judgment of God that they rule in, because they turned from God, they turned from the law of God, and God said you would do this. And he wrote it down. It's all written in the book of Deuteronomy, every bit of it. And we're going to find out this is what God has done. Verse 2, and a man shall be as in a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as by the watercourses in dry place, as in the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And this is what it's going to be. And it does give comfort. And these men, they are like they're in a hiding place, and they think they're in a great place, even this covert from the wind, the storms, as they think they're by the water courses, even in a dry place. See, God's going to turn this around. See, God has set this up. We're going to find this out. And the eyes of them that see shall not be closed, and the ears of them that hear shall attend. So God's going to make it known. And the eyes of them that see this will believe this, because it's true. Here they are, and they've made themselves a peaceful habitation. We're going to find out. The heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerers shall be ready to speak plainly. Because God's going to point this out. God's going to make it known. And these rash, these ones that are rash, these ones that are in a hurry, they're always anxious to get this going. We're going to see God takes time to work. God works over a great period of time. And these tongues of the stammerers shall be ready to speak plainly. And these stammerers are, it means stutter, but here it's being used that they're repetitive in their speech, constantly over and over and over and over and over and over. It's something that's taught by men and learned, as we learned earlier chapters, through rote, and that's through repetitiveness over and over. But they're even going to be ready to speak plainly when God makes this all known, because that's what he's going to do. He's set up his example. 5. The vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be noble. And this vile person is a foolish person, a person that acts foolishly, irresponsible. And they'll no more be called liberal, and this is to be noble or bountiful, because the truth is going to be known simple and plain. Nor the churl said to be noble. And once again, this noble is to be rich, somebody who is rich, bountiful, and this churl, though, shall no longer be called the rich, those that are have made themselves bountiful. And this churl is somebody who is a scoundrel, so to speak. They are somebody that is no good. They're like a thief, but in the understanding that they have something, and they withhold it from somebody else. Even the truth, even if they have the truth, they will hold it out for their own gain. 6. For the vile person will speak villainly, and his heart will work iniquity, to practice ungodliness, and to utter wickedness against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and to cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. And this vile person is, once again, these foolish people, these ones. And they will speak foolishly. Why? Because we'll find out they are taking those things that belong to God, putting them over in their idol. It's written all the way through the book, God causing them to do this, and to practice, and this is what it is. See, his heart works this iniquity, this sin, because God is causing him. God's prospering him, and he does practice ungodliness, and he does utter wickedness against the Lord. And what? That they put something between God and you. The only thing between God and us is the law. Our obedience to it makes us acceptable to the Lord. And this is how, this is the substance in which it takes to live, is the understanding of the law. And they hide that. They got all these other things that they've imputed over, these little ceremonies they go through. And these rituals are a nasty thing to God. God said, don't do this. He said, after the way of all the other gods do, they have done these things, but you shall not do this thing unto me. It's an abominable thing. 7. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wickedness, devices to destroy the poor with lying words, and the needy when he speaks right. And this churl, once again, is this one who has withheld now even understanding. And he does devise these wicked devices, every wicked device you can imagine, through pleasantry. Remember? Through pleasantry does he devise these devices. He's like a con man, an artist who comes up with some kind of little thing where, and we're going to find out there's a couple examples in the book of even this one who made the horns and stuck him on his head and ran around and said, with these shall you gore the nations. These are the kind of devices we're talking about. They try to make themselves out to be some kind of great individual, and they destroy the poor. These are poor in spirit. These don't have a lot of understanding, and the needy. Those the same thing. They have great need now. They are hungry. They are thirsty. And even when they speak right, because they've been humbled by God, these cut them off. 8. But the liberal deviseth the liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. And this is what a liberal person does. This is a generous person. This is a person who gives, and we're going to find out, the law said, with your hand open wide. He devises liberal things. He devises these generous things. He devises things to help, not destroy. He devises ways to heal, not treat. 9. Rise up, you women that are at ease, and hear my voice, you confident daughters. Give ear unto my speech. 9. Rise up, you women, you ones that have set yourself. Woman here is being used from men, these teachings, even these ones that stand up there even with their teachings. You're confident daughters. You're the ones, you confident. We're going to find out. These are the ones we started out talking about. These are the ones that's got themselves a place made there. They're the ones that's confident. They think they've got it all under control. But sin's rampant. Sin's running loose in the world, and they've allowed it. They breed it through their ignorance, through their defiling of the table. 10. After a year and days shall you be troubled, you confident women, for the vintage shall fail, the ingathering shall not come. We done knew God was going to spoil their harvest. He's done said he would. Remember, he's going to wait till it got nice and beautiful when the grapes are almost at their full. Then he's going to lop off the branches, feed it to the birds. And this is what we're talking about. This is what's going on. But he's given them great peace. He's given them all this, see. And they've done just what they were supposed to do. After a year, and after the great understanding, after this larger understanding, this full cycle of understanding, and the days, this little circle, this is a little understanding, this is the lesser understanding, even like the sun and the moon, a greater light and a lesser light, shall you be troubled. And that's what's going to happen. See, by the greater understanding, those of the lesser understanding are troubled. Well, you were confident, see, and you did your work in the dark, and you did your work in the night. But your harvest is going to fail. Your ingathering. 11. Tremble, you women that are at ease. Be troubled, you confident ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. This is what you need to be doing. Trembling. Why? God's coming. See, God's coming in judgment. He's done God's judgment in the earth. It's coming before him. You see, his reward is after him. You should be trembling, you ones that have made yourself confident. Strip yourself bare. Gird you with some sackcloth. Maybe you'll find forgiveness of the Lord when he gets here. 12. Smiting upon the breast for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. This is what you'll be doing. Why? You've spoiled God's people. You've spoiled God's land. For the land, 13, for the land of my people, whereon thorns and briars come up, yes, for all the houses of joy in the joyous city. See, because this is what's come up. This is what's happened. God sent his people in to do away with this, but they allowed it. I told you about these thorns and these briars. See, and now they've come up. This is what the prophet's seen as well. They've allowed it to prosper, see. And we're going to find out it's the mingling in of understanding that's done this mingling in even of these ways of idolatry. 14, for the palace shall be forsaken, the city with its stir shall be deserted, the mound and the towers shall be for dens forever, and the joy of wild asses a pasture of flocks. God said this is what he was going to do. And that's what he's done, see. We see this great city, but God said, no, this great city has been deserted. Briars have come up in it, and these are the briars in the world. See, this is what's going on. And it has been brought down. It's been humbled. We're going to find that out, see. God is humbled. 15, until the Spirit be poured out upon us from on high, and the wilderness become a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be counted a forest. We remember what was going to happen. This is what happens. The Spirit's poured out. What? The Spirit of judgment. The Spirit of judgment's poured out onto the earth. And this wilderness has become a fruitful field. And this fruitful field is counted as a forest even. This place of all the magnificent trees and high places. See, this is what's going to happen. But remember, the hewer's coming. The hewer's coming. Yeah, they growed the trees. They planted this great forest. And now the hewer's coming for the wood. 17. And the work of righteousness shall be peace. And the effect of righteousness, quietness and confidence forever. And the work of judgment shall be peace. This is what we get when we get judgment. Peace. The effect of judgment is quietness and confidence forever. There's understanding in the earth now once God does this. But God's going to punish. See, and once God punishes, there is understanding in the earth. This is the way God works through judgment. He's not blessing the world because we see too much strife and perversion, immorality, the breaking of the law, every law. And you're going to tell me this is the way we want it? You're going to tell me this is not what you've done? You've taught this. This is what you've taught. This is the effect of your understanding. Because you've turned from the law of God. You forsook the Lord your God. Did you think he was going to bless you? Did you think he was going to forget? (18) And my people shall abide in a peaceable habitation, and in a secure dwellings, and in quiet places. Why? They've seen the judgment of God. They've seen his understanding. See, this is what we're waiting on. God who comes in judgment. Show himself great. 19. And it shall hail in the downfall of the forest, but the city shall descend into the valley. It shall hail with a great storm and a great tempest and great wind in the downfall of the forest. What forest? Oh, this place right back. This one that was counted a fruitful field. See, it's a fruitful field. Even it's a great forest now. And it shall hail in the downfall. And the city will be humbled. It will be brought low. Humbled. God's going to humble them here. He's going to show himself magnificent. 20. Happy are those that sow beside all the waters, that send forth freely the feet of the ox and the ass. Joyous. This is, we remember this joyous city, this happy city. Those that sow beside all the waters, that send forth freely the feet of the ox and the ass. Even those that make an example of themselves. They're all happy and joyous and going out into the world, but we're going to see God's going to turn your joy into sorrow. He's going to spoil your harvest. He's done said he was going to. You know, there's no escape from the judgment of God. There's no way around it. The soul that sins, that soul will die. The soul that will turn from his sin, that soul shall live. The soul that breaks the law, that soul shall die. The soul that turns into the law, that soul shall live. And if you keep it for your own good, you'll live, see. God said, your choice is life or death. Choose life. Choose life. Choose life that you may live. That you may live for generations forever. That all may prosper. See, God wants to destroy poverty. God wants to destroy disease. And you keep everything from it. They withhold from you understanding. They have set a pillar there. They have blinded you. They have caused the shadow of death to pass over you. But God has done this. God has done this. Using them just like he said he was going to do. All right, let's move on. Chapter 33.